America trusts India. America wants to engage more with India and share critical technologies so far not shared even with alliance partners or just about with treaty alliance partners. So we were told that India was offered that NATO plus status, and India said, no, that doesn't suit us, we don't want it, but we do want critical technology. We want the GE-414 fighter jet engines, we want the Reapers, the Sea Guardians, the Predators, the Hellfire missiles, the smart munitions, the JDAMs, all of that India wants. The US is actually moving forward to say, yes, we trust you, we shall share. But how much is the big question? Again, my colleague Rahul Kawal, India Today's news director, spoke to the US ambassador to India, Eric Garcetti, on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's tour to the United States of America, the jet engine deal, the drones, and much more. Listen in.
India-US ties are deepening at a time when tensions between Washington and Beijing and New Delhi are increasing as well. How do you see the India-US dynamic play out in the context of China trying to rise as a superpower and try and dominate its neighbors and the rest of the world?
Well, I think that we share those values, that we should have a free Indo-Pacific region, freedom of the seas, that we should have protection of basic democracy and human rights. I think that we see our relationship not based on any third party. And I know India wants to have more peaceful relations with China. The United States wants to have more peaceful relations with China. But in the meantime, if we see any country out there acting against rule of law, acting against our interests, I think we have a deep friendship and, in many ways, a strategic partnership that says we will be there for each other in times of need.
You know, you've come to India at a time when this massive visit's happening, and everybody's been waiting for your confirmation to happen for you to come here. How's your stint in India been so far? Because whether it's Anthony Blinken, whether it's Jake Sullivan, whether it's the Defense Secretary, you had massive visits happening at a very high level. So you literally been thrown into the hot seat.
I think every ambassador around the world, American ambassador, is jealous of how much attention India is getting. I mean, to have a visit of the Prime Minister at a state visit, to have our president come for the G20 2 months later. They just saw each other in Japan. Hopefully they'll see each other even later in the year. This is, I think, indicative that India is hot, America is hot, and that Indians love Americans and Americans love Indians. It's a time for us to strengthen that bridge between us. It's a time for us to do that not just for ourselves, but also, I think, increasingly for the world.
Let's spend a moment on that G20 summit.
Yes.
President Joe Biden will be here in September. How do you see India's presidency shape up so far, and what do you think should be or could be the key legacy that the Indian presidency leaves behind?
No, India is really a bridge between East and West, a bridge between North and South, and a bridge between the past and the future. And in that sense, I think we have an amazing opportunity to see India's leadership, whether it's empowering women, whether it's making sure that folks have access to capital, whether it's looking at the work that's being done with technology as a force for good. These things together, I think, can be the legacy of G20, and we're very excited to support India's chairing of this. We know it's a difficult time. We might not get unanimity on everything, especially when it comes to war. We'll speak up still about a war of aggression of the Russians in Ukraine. But that doesn't mean the other work has to stop. We will see, I think, some very productive, very important work, and we invite every country to join us in that here in India.
Well, thank you very much. I hear that there's a huge demand for people to be in D.C. at that big dinner that President Biden...
Hottest ticket in town.
It is absolutely the hottest ticket in town. We look forward to seeing you there. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Ambassador.
My pleasure.
And we wish you all the best. Hope you have a great stint. And that promise that you just made about reducing visa times, everyone watching, I can guarantee you, will hold you to that.
We're going to be working hard to get it done.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
Thank you. See you soon.
You too.